And the good times continue on My Blend TV. And today we have royalty, literally royalty with us. Danays Leon Potolinka de Sperlinga, the Duchess of Sperlinga and co-owner of Sperlinga Tobacco. Amiga, how are you, my friend? Thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much. I'm great. And I really want to thank you for this invitation. And I'm looking forward to having a lot of fun with this conversation today. Thank you.
Yes, I mean, you're welcome. Listen, you could easily be the most interesting person in the world. There's so much going on behind that face that's smoking a great cigar. First of all, you own a cigar company, so we'll get into that. But let's start at the beginning here. A Cuban girl from La Habana ends up meeting a Duke who's Romanian, and now you're the Duchess of Sperlinga in Italy. Explain all this to me.
It sounds, yeah.
I mean, it's a fairy tale. It's what every girl wants, right?
Yeah, it is in a way. The thing is that it's something that I was never looking for it, right? It's these things that life just presents to you like this. And well, you said, I am Cuban, I am from Havana. And thank you so much for calling me girl. That's very nice of you to call me girl. So Jim, Dorian and I, we met through cigars. So social media does a lot of bad things, but does a lot of good things too. So we met through cigars. So I was into the Habanos world in Havana. I was a Habano sommelier. And you know that cigar smokers, they all follow each other, and they get to be friends without seeing each other's ever, and that's how we met. So I just invited him to go to Havana, and we connected amazingly since the beginning. He's a gentleman, and that's it. We just fell in love with each other through this, which is an amazing thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cigar is a romance tale for
yes.
you. And that's so awesome. All right, so let's get to the beginning here. So you're a Habano sommelier. How did all that come about? How did the cigar find you? Because I don't believe we find the cigar. I think the cigar finds us. So there you are in Cuba, growing up. I mean, obviously you're surrounded by it. Coffee and cigars. That is Cuba. But how did it find you? Where did it all start?
Well, I have to tell you that in my case, the thing is that I live in Canada, in Toronto specifically, for 7 years, right? And there I had this was before meeting Dorian, right? That was many years ago. And we had a very active social life. One of the things, being a Cuban and just surrounded by Cubans and all that, it was just to portray to the Cuban culture. One of the things was Habanos, right? And then in a lot of activities, parties and things, well, Habanos were smoked. I did not smoke at the moment, but that brought to my mind a very nice memories of my childhood, because my father used to smoke cigars when I was a little girl. And it was never bad for me, quite the opposite. It was a very nice sensation, very nice smell. And that brought back all those memories from my childhood. And then when I returned back to Cuba in 2004, I started trying to continue some studies that I had started before. And then in that, I starting to become a sommelier. After that, I just became a Habano sommelier. And that's it. It was the sensory memory triggered by the smoke and all those social gatherings that made me just try to find a way to learn a little bit more about cigars.
All right, so I've heard of wine sommeliers, I've heard of water sommeliers, and cigar sommeliers. So tell me what exactly is your role? What do you do? What is a cigar sommelier? What is the end goal for a person like me who is enjoying a smoke?
Well, I have to tell you that, as I mentioned, my origin in Cuba is as a Habano sommelier. So I will tell you briefly what Habana sommelier does, because after that I just became cigar sommelier out of Cuba and master cigar sommelier by the International Association of Cigar Sommeliers. But in Cuba, is if you want to be a Habana sommelier, necessarily you have to be a sommelier first. So you need to have a comprehensive knowledge of drinks, wines, spirits, and so on. And with this knowledge, then you studied all regarding Habanos, from the seed to the cigar ready to be smoked, right? And then the ritual of cutting, lighting, and all that. So a Habana sommelier and a cigar sommelier, what they do is just to recommend pairings for the enjoyment of clients, right? But you knowing the cigar as the main figure for us, because for us it's not the drink that then we pair with the cigar, it's the cigar, the star. And then based on the profile of the cigar, the strength, the notes, the flavors, then we try to pair with this cigar or whatever cigar is, right? Some drinks. Usually we divide the cigars into 3/3. And then we say, okay, so the first third is the less intense third, and then maybe this drink may go with this according to the alcoholic content, according to the notes. Then I will know that the second third will, the intensity and all the flavors will evolve, and then another drink may come into the show, and a third one. So there are a lot of possibilities, but always you have to start by knowing your cigar and knowing the drinks. That's what allows you to have a good pairing, right? And then that's what a Habana sommelier and a cigar sommelier does, basically. But just having this knowledge not only allows you to work, right? But it turns you into a better consumer, because also you can enjoy yourself. You can enhance your experience by knowing all this information, having these techniques.
One of the things that I'm asked a lot, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've developed mine yet, is developing a cigar palate. And I would imagine that's part of where that comes from, pairing the right food or wine or cheese or whatever it is with the cigar. How did you do it? How would you recommend somebody to develop their cigar palate?
Well, to develop the cigar palate, from my perspective, is something very much similar to the way or the training that you should have for training, for getting or developing your palate for food or for wine, right? So it's a whole sensory experience. So my suggestion would be just to be adventurous, to open your mind to new experiences, because sometimes we come with some education and some sensory memory from the childhood. Okay, this is the type of food that my mother used to cook, and she used to put this, or my grandmother, or the smell of something that you had in the house, and like the smoke just took me to the cigars, right? In my case, when I mentioned my father and all that. But be adventurous, try new things. For instance, go to a spices store, buy a few amounts of different spices, smell those spices, put them in the mouth, taste them. That will enhance very much, that will enrich very much your sensory memory. So you have to learn also how to taste. This I'm saying is in general, this applies to food, wine, and cigars, not only cigars. Learn how to taste, because it's not just putting food or some spices or some vegetables in our mouth and just swallow. No, it's just put it there and just start analyzing what you're feeling, how the flavors, whatever the product you have in your mouth, how evolves, how just you start feeling the flavors and the aromas, because it's the combination of the palate, whether with the smell or the olfaction sense, right? And try to remember all that. Be careful with the sugar. Too much sugar in products, that can mask the rest of the notes that you could appreciate. Temperature also in food, temperature in drinks. If it is too hot, it's not good for the taste buds, because they can be damaged. If it is too cold, like some people, they like to have cocktails with lots of ice. I do not say is wrong, but from my perspective of a cigar sommelier, I would say, let's try to have something not with so much ice, because that will numb your taste buds. So those are little suggestions that I would tell people. Smell is the first. I started by smelling spices, food, smell the rain. Even in wine, we find some notes very similar to the ones that we can smell when it starts the rain and it has been dried for a long time. That's what we call petrichor. That particular smell, you can find it also in wine. You can find it in some cigars too. So just open your senses to experience the world surrounding you. Smelling from the visual point of view, to also taste as much as possible. That will help a lot.
That's fascinating stuff. Absolutely fascinating stuff. So glad you're here. So you teach a course on this. You're an associate professor in this. How do I get involved in this class? This is the class I want to go to.
Okay, you're more than invited to welcome. I'm sorry, you're more than welcome to involve yourself in this, of course. Okay, when I said associate professor, that was in Havana, because after I graduated as a sommelier and as a Habano sommelier, I also just teach in those same courses. But now I'm partner for the International Association of Cigar Sommelier for Europe. And I'm also the certified instructor for Europe too. So this association can be reached through the website. They have a website, www.thecigarsommelier.org. And there are courses for the level of cigar sommelier. After, if you graduate and you want to continue your education, then you can come to Dominican Republic just a few days before Pro Cigar, and then we have the master. So it's there are other courses also for enriching the culture and the education. These courses initially were designed for people working within the hospitality industry, but it's not restrictive to that. Whoever wants to take her or his experience when smoking a cigar to a next level, so can learn and can just become a better consumer, as I said, because you will enjoy it very much after you learn how to pair things, how to smoke, how to cut, how to light. A lot of people, they enjoy cigars, they like cigars very much, but after smoking for many years, they realize that they didn't know few things that can help enhancing that experience. So it's nice.
I my boss here at My Blend TV, and we're going to get ourselves down to the Dominican Republic. I don't think it's going to take much, convincing to get down to the Dominican Republic and take this course. Now, how would you start? In other words, let's say you have somebody who's maybe new to cigars. Like what's a good pairing? Is it coffee and cigars? Is there a particular type of meat or cheese? What's a good way to start to really hit that, so that you can really see, get that message across of what you're smelling and what you're tasting?
Well, I always recommend, if you're new to cigars, please do not pair your cigar with anything than water. You have to learn, you have to experience your cigar first just with water, because any other, for the first time, I mean, right? Any other element that you add, it will change the perception of the cigar taste. So it's better to know first how the cigar tastes, how it evolves, if you like it, if you don't like it, if you prefer something stronger, if you prefer something milder. So it's always good just to, when I smoke a cigar for the first time, always I smoke my cigar and just drink water. I need to know the cigar. After I know the cigar, then I can say, okay, this cigar could be good just for espresso, or for this rum, or this cognac, or this whiskey. So for instance, I just have a very simple article that I wrote this was for the Habanos world, right? But the recommendations you can apply to all the cigar smokers. Doesn't matter whether it's Habanos or any other brand or cigars. And it's just a guide how to start smoking cigars. Do not start with a very strong cigar. Try to buy something, like Mareva, because of the size of the, not so big, not so long, not so strong. You can get even a Robusto but up to medium strength, no more than that, because it's going to be your first experience, right? So then how to cut it, how to light it, how to touch it to know where there are, you know, some bumps or hard parts. It's just to, in an educating way, right? So once you know your cigar, it may come to your mind, okay, this cigar is very nice for coffee. For instance, I'm just smoking this little cigar, which is one of our cigars. This is called Esperlinga. Un café is just a question. That's the name of the cigar. But
Wow.
yeah, it's just what we call figurado. It's a very small cigar. This is 44 by 4. And for me, this name is perfect because of the notes of this cigar. This goes very well with coffee, very well, very nice. And you don't always have the time to smoke a long cigar, 1 hour cigar or 1 hour and a half. But this, even though it's very small, it can take from 30 minutes to 45 minutes in the morning. That's, for me, this is a perfect cigar for the morning with the coffee. So it takes, you know, knowing the things slowly to arrive to discover what you like, right?
I love it. And that, to me, that's the best thing about cigars. Cigars is almost like life, in the sense that it's not about the destination. It's not about finding that perfect cigar. It's the journey to
Exactly.
get to that cigar, the journey of life. That's what cigars is. That's why, to me, it's such a fascinating world. And I love talking to people like you who really embrace it and bring passion and education to it. Okay, so obviously you have dominated this world of cigars, and now and you're in the business as an co-owner of Sperlinga Cigars. Tell me about your brand. Tell me about what you guys put out there. Where is it made? Tell me everything about this. I need to know how to get some.
Okay, so let's start by the name. Sperlinga, as you mentioned at the beginning, well, that's the nobility title or the predicate of the nobility title of my husband and I. Sperlinga is this commune in Sicily. That's the name of our brand too. When I met him, he already had the brand. I just joined him on this journey, which we love, and we just put together our efforts and love and passion, and that's what we are just doing right now. This is the main ring of the brand. And he was here in Dominican Republic when we met. He was here in Dominican Republic trying to have his own cigar brand. Mm-hmm. And we met. COVID just delayed everything, all the plans and all. But finally, we were able to come back to Dominican Republic and start our brand. We now have 2 lines. One is a limited edition that we developed with La Aurora Cigar Factory. This is just 2,500 boxes. And the line is called Volcanoes line because Dorin is a geologist. And then he always had the idea of having these cigars, at least one line with the names of volcanoes and all that. So we have 5 boxes with the names of the continents. And inside each of the boxes, there are 4 cigars with names of volcanoes. So I will show you only one. I don't want to. So it's like this. So this is his photo arm, yes. And in total, there are like 20 different cigars. And the other line, which we like to call like the classic portfolio, is called the life journey. We met through cigars. We all human beings, we have different moments of feelings, emotions, and then cigars is something that is so related to that, right? And then we call this the life journey. We have 9 cigars. We have the longing, the story, the passion, the beginning, the dream, the choice. So that's what we're doing right now. And this one, which is out of those lines, this one is just something aside, which is Sperlinga Un Café. These cigars are made here in Dominican Republic, where we are right now.
I see. I love the fascinating thing is when you find out why the cigars have a specific name. Obviously, you've got the volcano line, and now the life's journey line. So, as a woman in this industry, as an owner of a cigar company, where is the tobacco business? Where is the cigar industry today? Is it in a good place? Where is it heading? I think that despite
all the regulations, the legislations, and all that ordeal that cigar smokers and cigar business have to face with the governments and such, as an industry is in a very, very good moment. Let's put these other elements or things that I just mentioned, is in a very good moment because there has been an explosion. So some people, some knowledgeable people, they say that this is the second boom, which is bigger than the first one. So it means that people love cigars and people, they want to continue smoking cigars. This is a great experience. So despite all that, so it's growing. Sales, they have grown, amount of smokers, they have grown. And one important thing is that COVID has been very bad for the whole world, right? But the silver lining of this was that we, as human beings, tried to get together through social media because we needed that contact, at least virtually, right? And this allowed us to share the knowledge, our passion, and this community has been just growing and just getting tighter, right? And then that helped a lot to a lot of people to know. For instance, a lot of women now, they are not afraid anymore of showing that they smoke because they enjoy it. And also a lot of young people also, they have discovered this pleasure. And another thing is that a lot of people, they have discovered that there are not only Habanos, that there are other brands, because there are a lot of markets which are very traditional Habano smokers or consumers, and they have discovered other cigars, other tobacco grown in other regions, and this has opened up the eyes and the minds of a lot of people. And a lot of new brands, they have got into other countries, new countries, just because of this. So I think it's a great opportunity.
Right. It's an interesting time right now to be in the cigar business, to be a cigar smoker, to be a show, and I appreciate the time hanging out with us. So where can we find you guys on social media? Where can we find Sperlinga Cigars on social media?
Okay, so we have Instagram right now. Our website is being developed. So at the end of this year, we are supposed to be launching the website with all the information. That's something that has been delayed also because of all these COVID and all these problems. But we have our account in Instagram, my account, because I post a lot of things for all the brands, because I have a small live session called Smoke and Talk. And then I like to promote and I like to talk about all the brands and all the people in the industry. So mine is Danays, is DANAYS_Leon. And we have also Sperlinga Cigars and Lifestyle on Instagram too. And the same name for the Facebook page. And well, if you enter any of these two, you will find the connection to the other ones.
I love it. Before I let you go, what is your favorite cigar? If you have a quiet moment or you're celebrating something, what does Danays like to smoke? What is your go-to?
For me, that's a very difficult question, because I do not have something, okay, this one is the perfect cigar. I think it all depends on the moment. It depends on what I have. The most important thing for me is your disposition to enjoy. If you feel good, your cigar will taste good too, unless it's something very bad, right? But usually it's not what we get. But the best cigar is the one that you enjoy. It can be in the morning, it can be in the afternoon, it can be in the evening. It all depends. I love all cigars. Doesn't matter the brand. Okay, my ring just went down. And that happens. But I just suggest our friends to only to smoke when they know that they will have the time to smoke, and when they know that they are emotionally ready for that. Because if you are upset for something, if you're distressed, you will not enjoy not even the best cigar in the world. It will taste bad. So the state of mind is very important when you are going to smoke a cigar.
I love it. It's all connected. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, and it's in our heart. It's all connected. I love it. Listen, Danays, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Danays Leon Potolinka de Sperlinga, the Duchess of Sperlinga, old co-owner of Sperlinga Tobacco. Hit her up. I cannot wait to get my little hands on those cigars. Thank you
will
for the time.
soon. Thank you so much, Jim. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right, amiga. Un abrazo.
Para ti también. Un abrazo.